or Renaissance guy, change. And I'm going to call this Renaissance Guy Talks, and I'm going to talk a little bit about facts, a little bit about how we should be as people. And, I'm going to bring a lot of stuff that I was taught when I was young, okay? So the first thing that I was taught when I was young is that everybody has the freedom and the right to choose as they will. They have the freedom to be able to think and react to what they want. Now, whether we like things or not, that is the way it is, okay? The second thing is that just because you have that freedom, and it may sound contradictory, but it's not, just because you got the right to do that, it doesn't necessarily add that you have the right to go and insult people, be derogatory towards people, or anything else like that. There's a basic decency which is in every single one of us, or at least should be in every single one of us. And, we're given the freedoms to be able to think and feel and act primarily to become more of who we are. Now, unfortunately, there are some people who use that and abuse that. There's good and bad in everybody, and there are some people who abuse that freedom to be nasty and derogatory towards people. But I firmly believe, for the most part, people are decent. I firmly believe that, although sometimes I may get fed up with people. And I like to go on holiday or vacation, whatever you want to call it, and I like to go where there's not very many people about, because sometimes you need to get away from people of all kinds. But it occurred to me with this freedom is that it should hold today. And one of the freedoms that we have is to disagree. We have the freedom to actually look at things and say, well, actually, you know what? I don't think that's right. I don't think that's that. And, people have done that with me. I've done that with them. And, hey, you can disagree with people as much as you want. And, again, there's freedom to do it. Now, you're probably guessing where this is going, and you'd be right. And it's with the trans ABC bacon, lettuce, tomato, well, whatever it is. And I'm poking a little gentle fun at it because it slowly starts. I wouldn't be surprised if it became the alphabet. I wouldn't be surprised. It's all and I'm reminded of John Cleese, where he says, well, everything is really ridiculous and quite laughable, and including some of my own life. Where I'm very much known to be a person at work and through friends and colleagues, is a person who can laugh at myself, and I really can. There are some things in my life that I look back at, laugh, and think, well, how absolutely ridiculous. And I think the reason why I am unoffendable, I might find some things irritating, and of course there are some things I do find upsetting. Let's get that in the open. There are some things I do find upsetting, but I don't get offended. I don't get shy of who I am and doubt myself, because I know who I am and what I'm doing. And I also believe that I know myself enough to find out that if I'm wrong, then I can say that. Now, I was having an interesting conversation with a gay guy, actually, and it was from a gay guy. And we both very much listened to Dr. Jordan Peterson and a few other people, and we're both about the same age, and he's a pretty decent guy. Talks a lot of sense, and I'd love to sort of get him on here and actually talk about some of the things we're talking about. And we're talking about this particular community, and he said the problem is unless you fall into a very specific category of what these people want. And he said, and he was talking about himself as well, because he thinks a certain way, he's a traitor to his own preferences, etc., etc. There are some people who are trans who do not go along with the current trend and thought and are outcasts. Now I'm going to be very, very blunt here, and I'm going to be very, very honest and truthful and straightforward, all right? And I'm going to say here, first and foremost, is that I, after looking at all sorts of information, I draw the conclusion to this. There aren't whatever how many genders there are. It's ridiculous. And people say, oh, well, experts have come up with this. Well, the experts are talking crap, because these experts have come up with all these things are being paid a lot of money. Hell, if you were gonna, I hope I'd have the moral fiber to say no, but if you were to say we are going to pay you several millions or several hundred thousands of pounds to say and come out after all my research, the sky is green and the grass is blue, you know, I'd probably do the same. So but I'm going to say this, that there are two genders, and I don't care if anybody gets offended about it or not. The whole world, the universe and everything revolves around mathematics, or a very, very pure form of mathematics. And the basic, purest form of mathematics is binary, and everything stretches from binary. It's as simple as that, positive, negative. And I'll take an analogy. And a very good one is that electricity has positive and negative. You see what happens if you try shoving in a plug into somewhere where it only has 2 prongs instead of 3. If you live in, or whatever it may be, you go and shove in a piece of copper wiring into a socket, and you've only got one piece. See what happens to you if you don't plug it in the right way. And kids, I'm not recommending you do that. Really not. Don't do it. But I'm just saying, you're not going to find life worth living. There's a natural order in the world, and it is male and female. There's a natural progression of reproduction, everything else, that requires binary. Now, if you feel and think something else, God bless you, go ahead and feel that. All right, we've all got to make our way in the world. All right, I may not agree with you, all right, and I don't have to be forced to actually say and agree with something that I do not agree with. All right, doesn't mean say I'm going to be phobic about you or anything else. Doesn't mean that at all. I'm not afraid of anything. What it does mean is, and I am going to be quite firm, is that I don't have to be pulled into your world where it's a case of your personal identity and how you see yourself, because it is an illusion. And I'm going to finish up with this, is that many years from now, biologists and scientists, if they were to dig up 2 skeletons, they're going to do tests on it due to bone width, bone positioning, and how things are. And they will either say this person was male, this person was female. And that's all they're not going to know anything other then they will be able to see what you look like according to your DNA, according to your chromosomes that's held within your body and in your bones. They're going to look at all that, and they can bring up an accurate portrait. In fact, they can even do it now, where they can take a bone from someone and construct pretty much a reasonable facsimile of how somebody looks like. Your identity is not going to exist. All right? It's a mental construct within oneself. Now, what I will say is, and I will finally say this, is that this movement is poisoning children. And the one thing that I could and have a responsibility for is turn around and say, leave children alone. Parents are responsible for raising their children, not you in the trans community or anything else. It is the parents' responsibility, and what children should be doing is they should be learning about the reading, writing, maths, science, biology, all the ones that are actually based on fact, and going out and playing as kids and doing the things kids do. Hell, when I was a kid, they used to have a dress-up box with all sorts of different clothing, and we thought it was hilarious putting on a dress and running around and having a bit of a laugh, because we all thought we looked silly and funny, and it was funny how we had to run around with it and stuff like that. And then it was put in the day and we went home, and there was not a single thought on whether we're male or female. Let me ask you a question. Are you that insecure about who you are? This is directed to the trans people. Are you that insecure that you have to go and poison kids? All right, and that is the only thing I'm going to turn around and say. It's not homophobic or anything else. It's true that we've had thousands of years where kids have gone out, played out and stuff like that. Not a single suicide. It's because you're poisoning them. Stop poisoning children. Leave them alone. Let kids be kids. If you want to be who you are or what you feel, all power to you. But as soon as you start doing that, that's where we as people need to stand up and take a stand. Now, if it offends your sensibilities, then that's your problem. It isn't mine. So just a few thoughts for this morning, all right? I'm quite happy and willing to discuss things and to debate things, but I will not live by your illusion. So have a great day. Be happy with who you are. Find the fullness of creation that you have and follow it.